Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. This is a little intro addendum that I'm adding into this video because more news has happened. Man, a lot of news has happened, right, since I recorded this last night. Literally last night, right? I recorded this last night and a bunch of news happened, so I thought I should address it. I try to put out these videos out daily. Several things. Like, I mean, we are very clearly walking to World War III right now. I mean, we got Biden's arriving in Israel today. Like, what if a missile from Hezbollah or Hamas is just aimed at Air Force One, like comes close to Air Force One? They got to deploy countermeasures. At that point, that's like a call to war, right? A call to actual war. Which were based again, these destroyer group, I believe they got here, the two aircraft carriers. I believe it's the Third Fleet, right? And I think the Third Fleet was stationed in Bahrain and acted as support for the Fifth Fleet, which I think was stationed next to Taiwan as protection for Taiwan. So this might be open a window for China to go into Taiwan. Can America fight a war on three fronts? I don't know. Biden's requesting a $100 billion package. Now, for me in Israel, I'm like, okay. Like, I was all like, no more in Ukraine. Don't do it. Like, now I got some skin in the game. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm fine with that. Okay, we can go down with that. Even though it all sounds horrendous and terrible. But to be got that now, apparently there's over 19,000 active service personnel, U.S. active service personnel in the vicinity now, and we're getting 2,000. I mean, yeah, these numbers freak me the hell out. 2,000 boots on the ground of combat personnel, right? Which will be, I assume, do joint operations with the IDF to try and rescue the some of the hostages. I don't know how that's in any way, shape, or form possible without a teleporter. Maybe there is a teleporter, because, like, honestly, we're heading to World War III, and everyone's going, nuclear conflict. It could well be. And yes, that could absolutely happen. But, nuclear weapons are, 75 years old now, since they were first deployed, 80 years old? Put that in context, right? Think of 80 years before nuclear weapons were deployed for the first time, like 45. So that was... takes you to, 1865. What they have, like muskets, cannons, right? Like that's the same vast gulf in technology that we have between, for 85 years before nuclear weapons. So give you an idea how far things have moved on. So who knows what they have, right? Like, really, who knows what they have? I guess we're going to find out pretty darn soon. But the reason I'm making this little intro as well is because the news I woke up to this morning was there was a hospital in Gaza that was hit, that was bombed. This whole thing has been... It's been described this way many times, and it's so true. A flare went up, and you got to see where people were. Right? Did they hate Jews, and were they fine with Jews being slaughtered? I mean, they'll give, crocodile tears, and they'll say, "Oh yes, of course, we completely couldn't know that." But those damn Israelis caused the whole thing. I mean, that's Owen Jones, a piece of the crap like that. So that group of people are going, see, Israel are evil. They're they're the baby killers, right? And that's coming from the premise that the Israel-Palestinian conflict is based on racism from the Israelis, the white Israelis, to the non-white Palestinians, which is absolute nonsense, right? It's absolute nonsense. It is an anathema to the culture here in Israel. Right? We're a very progressive country, right? It's absolutely crazy. And I see because there's no military advantage that I know of for attacking this. So what Israel is saying, which I believe, because obviously I have my biases, right? I think I'm the good guys, right? I think I'm on the side of the good guys, everybody does. But I think my biases are correct. They're saying that a Hamas missile misfired and struck the hospital. My guess is because the explosion was huge. I think 500 are dead. Like the explosion was absolutely huge. My guess is they're probably storing Palestinian Hamas ordnance there, like weapons, bombs there, which they do store in hospitals, right? And that got hit, and that went up. I know, but that's the latest storm in the teacup, where everybody's claiming, "See, they're the bad guys. See, they're the bad guys." Look again. I think the side that rapes and murders and kidnaps babies and murders babies and cuts the heads off babies, we're going to be talking about. But what? Well, let us see the pictures of them cutting the heads off babies. Oh, we can't believe it. Really, I can pretty much believe it. There was actually a guidebook on how to kidnap Israelis, right? And they say first thing you do when you catch them, you got to torture them so they don't give you any trouble. Okay, I mean, I think that's the bad side, right? I think that's probably the bad side, and they seem pretty damn happy about it. But anyway, we talk about all this and more. This is day 11. I recorded this last night. We're in day 11 now. How many more days do we have before the apocalypse is now? I don't know, right? I don't know. We're in the Jewish month of HaGeffen. It's just started. And the Jewish month of HaGeffen is unique. It's the only one that doesn't have a Jewish holiday in. And we've had a tradition that there'll be some kind of messianic holiday connected to that in this month. Is this the month? Is this the year that this is going to happen in? Seems reasonably likely to me, right? It seems really likely. We'll know more in 28 days when the month is over. Anyway, let me hand over to me from last night. I mean, literally, we have World War III lining up to start here. Literally, America's deploying 2,000 troops? That's a lot of troops. They deployed about 20 to Ukraine. Deployed to them 2,000 boots on the ground here in Israel. It doesn't sound like that's a good idea, right? That doesn't sound like a good idea if you're into de-escalation. If you're into escalation, might just do the trick, darling. Might just do the trick. Yeah, we live in funky times. Is all I can say. But nothing happened today, right? Another day. I mean, my sons got their phones back. They phoned us. Then they're about to be taken away again. With one son who isn't by Gaza, and he can't say a thing on for security. I think he's scared of saying anything that might identify us, which would make us a target to get leverage over him. I mean, hello, how are you there? I mean, there's honestly, he can't say a freaking thing. And we got, it kind of talks in code a lot. I mean, that's always a bit freaky, when you're talking to your kid and he has to talk in code, and not for the good reason. But again, Biden's coming out tomorrow. Tim Pool, they were speculating that if the deep state wanted to get rid of Biden, right, and also Kamala Harris for the next election, which they probably do, right, and they want to have a long-term war going on where they can really milk it for a lot of money, have Biden assassinated, God forbid, right, by Hamas, while he's visiting Israel. That would, like a visiting president, on foreign soil being assassinated, then you hound them into the end of the earth and destroy them. So, but yeah, listen, it's all kicking off up north at Hezbollah. However, I'm more interested. Well, not more interested. I am interested in the media take on it because this is a very media savvy war, which is really weird. I'll show you this. So, this awesome Israeli woman drops a truth bomb or two over here, and it's fantastic.
Hamas lovers. I don't know, you were so happy. You were cheering everywhere when you saw the massacre in Israel, didn't you? Now you're saying it did not happen? It was your own people putting it out there, right? What happened?
I mean, it's really weird. They just, whatever their own rules are, they're they when it's inconvenient, they just wipe them away. So this woman is not white, right? So she should believe, no, she's still too white.
Happened. You realize that the whole world eventually sees exactly who you are? Unhuman with no morals, murderers, supporters, pedophiles, and rapist lovers. But where are the pictures? Show me the pictures of decapitated babies.
Yeah, that was a bit of a weird cry. Demand to see the picture of the decapitated babies. Well, okay, seems a bit weird, but carry on.
And you call yourself?
Although, in all fairness, like a lot of the pictures of the atrocities, not atrocities, the death, right? The death happening in Gaza. I don't really trust most of them, right? I think I don't. Because they just lie all the time about everything, right? So I've seen like videos of them with a funeral procession with a body crying, and then it's aerial photography, right? And it gets there's a missile strike near them, and the body gets up and runs away, right? They lie about freaking everything, but I mean, yeah, look, I imagine it's not going great, but like. Don't start fucking wars, morons, right? Don't start a war, right? And then cry that you're having a war. Unconditionally surrender if you don't like it. Like return all the hostages, give up all your weapons, every bullet, every gun, every missile you made, everything. Give it all up, and then give up your leadership, right? Send them all out, right? Send them all out. 1 second, let me just reply over here. Little bit. 1 second. Doink. Somebody asked me about what we are covering today. So I said, "Are you covering the thing?" I said, "Oh, a little bit. You know me. Anyway, let's continue.
Human. Yeah, we saw the rape of the women and the massacre and the kidnapped of elderly and children. Yeah, we saw the burned bodies of men, women, and babies after being tortured alive and burned alive. Fine, and we saw the bodies with no body parts. But I have not seen the 40 babies after they chopped their heads off. So it's not so bad. Humanity got out of the building. We queers are for Palestine. We want to free Palestine. We want everyone to be free and celebrate their own identity and gender. Listen, the day you will free Palestine, by the way, it's not gonna happen. It's the day you better run back to your closet, missy. All of you who pretend to care about human rights and raise your flag to support Hamas, wow, you are beyond stupid. It will be an insult to stupidity.
Yeah. This is why don't piss off Israeli women. This is what they do to you, right? They will destroy you both mentally and physically. There's at the same time look freaking gorgeous. There's not just been like 300,000 or was it 230,000 or 300,000? I think 300,000. Some huge number, right, of army personnel activated. But that's 300,000 Jewish mothers baking like crazy for all their kids. In fact, an official notice went out asking them to like hold off on all the food, especially the European food, the Ashkenazi food. Yeah, enough of that. They said
this is a call for people in America, in Europe, in Asia, and you Aussies. Hamas is using you, your politically correctness, and your woke schmoke movement against you. They use your innocent ideology while they do not share the same morals and values. It's actually funny. In the name of letting everyone have their own opinion and diversity because we need to acknowledge human rights, you're legitimizing exactly the opposite. You're legitimizing terror. Do not be afraid or worried of being racist. It doesn't have anything to do with racism or a war between two countries. But
again, she's reasonably black, and we're fine with the Israeli Palestinians who live and work in Israel, the 20% of our country. I just don't get it. Say, oh no, we're racist against the Gazan Palestinians, but the and we only got racist against the Gazan Palestinians after they started a suicide bombing campaign, and we built a rule because a wall and a fence because we're so racist.
It has everything to do with being human, with being on the right side of history, supporting the good, not the evil. Your Hamas supporter citizens in your country do not care about you. And for sure, they don't care about the Gaza people. They just adore the evil targeted on Jews, and they will target you next. Support Israel. Support humanity, because the West is next, and it's already in your streets. Done.
I mean, listen, you had me at being very, very hot. That normally gets me to listen to anyone, right? I don't know. Listen, I'm more of a top than a bottom, right? So I'm not. I don't like the being shouted at thing. But you know, Israeli women, if they shout at you, they're not going to sleep, right? It's like, you know, if they're too scared to shout at you, they will sleep with you, and it's not that they're not tough, right? So well put, my dear, well put. What else we got going on? Well, we're not going to spend it forever covering this today, right? Because what? Nothing freaking happened, right? It's nothing freaking happened. So yeah, there's this one. People keep asking, like, "Oh, whoa, they cut off the water in Gaza." You know why they don't have any water in Gaza? Because they dig up the water pipes to make their freaking missiles out of. Check this out, right? This is a thing. Right, so that was the Gaza missiles firing, right? Kill the music in case it's copyright thing. But yeah, look, they've stolen the water pipes to re-engineer them to make into missiles to fire. Like, really? And then they cry they don't have water. Yes, I know, you dug up all your water pipes, you dumb cunts. So you could get, and this is so freaking Hamas, right? Like, we will dig up our water pipes and then to make weapons to kill you, and then blame you for not having water. How about stopping with the missiles? Although, why give it a paint job? That seems to be a bit unnecessary, right? That seems to be a bit. Oh, come on. They did not make that one themselves, okay? That came from Iran. You're not fooling anyone, mate. Yeah, I mean, how about not doing this and having water? Right? I don't know. Like, that maybe I'm just being particularly Jewy, right? Yeah, so this was a video saying how great Hamas is because they make water. I mean, that was their own promotional video, right? Morons. Meanwhile, you know, again, this is genuinely a propaganda war, right? Which, in a way that I really haven't seen before. And the thing is, there's it's terrible to say it, the most incredibly strong messaging is being done with the all these posters of the different kidnapped people up, right? It's it just brings awareness. It ties it into 9/11 to a certain extent. It's a very, very, very powerful message, right? It's extremely powerful, I think. And that's the reason, by the way, it's making them crazy, right? It's making again, this has shone a light, right? This is a flare went up and you saw where people are morally, right? And if you're pro Hamas, not good for you, you know, I would say. But yeah, so because that's been so successful, that's why we're getting things like this. Like, and this is there's a few people who just go around tearing them down, right? These new annual students were caught tearing down posters of kidnapped children and hostages to show support for Hamas. Right, exactly. If you're hiding what you're doing, right? If you're, yeah, and it's incredible, right? I have this all my life. If people hate it when I call them out, when I say, "Well, you're doing this," well, like, and we can all see you do that, right? And people get really pissed off. How about just not do that? Yeah, would you? You know, would you ever consider that? But yeah, this is happening all over England as well. And just, you know, I'm not going to dwell on too many of these things, right? But I think, you know, it's very important to me that these people aren't forgotten, right? And they could very easily be. And again, look, from a marketing point of view, which I do, these are just incredibly powerful. yesterday. They found one of the killed terrorists, a guidebook, right, to teach you how to subdue and like, the first thing you do is you when you capture people is torture them, right, to keep them quiet. I mean, it's anybody defending this, right? I think is either doesn't know what they're defending, or very much knows what they're defending, right? And yet, listen, there's a feeling here that this is a holy war to a great extent. If you look if you believe in God, right? People, you are thinking this in terms of holy war. And look, to me, this is what a holy war would look like, right? And it's not like jihad. This is I don't know what this is. This is some kind of this is clearly after October 7th. October 7th was a holiday of lots of dancing, right? Lots of dancing with big Torah scrolls, and this is clearly going on an army base encampment. Looks like outside of Gaza to me by the weather, the Gaza, I should say, by the weather. Yeah, this is a religious song they sing at that holiday. It's Simchat Torah. I mean, other than making mind-bending weapons, to save the world with, this is the most coordinated us Jews get. Right? So I don't know what's going to be. Nothing again today, right? And I look, as I said, for me, they could keep bombing for the next 2 months with that, and not have my kids going, "Oh, that again." I'm the kid who's not by Gaza, right? He's it just sounds scary, right? It just sounds scary where he is. And again, it's worth noting how scary these things are. And again, these are just like horrific. The more you look at these things, the more relentlessly. This is worse than 9/11, right? Because everybody was all the pictures of the people lost at 9/11, right? They were like, it was a bomb, like missile aimed at a group of people, right? This is individually kidnapping people. This is the most horrendous thing ever. So this beautiful 12-year-old girl with autism. I mean, fuck me. How does it keep getting worse? I mean, honestly, how does it keep getting worse? Beautiful 12-year-old girl, autism was kidnapped from a home by Hamas terrorists and was taken to Gaza. Noya is sensitive, kind, funny, and a massive Harry Potter fan, right? You see she's got the Hebrew Harry Potter. And did they add J.K. Rowling at this? J.K. Rowling, can you help get a story out? Share help get it home. And to her credit, she did. Well, good for you, J.K. Rowling. Kidnapping children is despicable and wholly unjustifiable. I mean, it really is, right? I mean, but the oppression, and they go for the same 4 pieces of the bullshit every time. The occupation, you're not occupied, right? Apartheid state, it's not an apartheid state. The open air prisons, because you kept trying to kill us. And when you let a guard down, we blinked for a second. You did, right? What's the football one they always go with? I don't know. And guess what? For obvious reasons, this picture has hit home to me. May Noya and all the hostages taken by Hamas return home safely to the family. And yeah, it just everybody knows it's going to take a miracle for that to happen, right? It's going to take an absolute miracle. So look, I am sorry about the scenes of devastation, right, in Gaza. That's what a war looks like, right? That is what a freaking war looks like. Don't start wars. We people say don't start wars, right? It's a good idea not to start a war, right? Don't start wars because children get killed in wars. Buildings get blown up. Wars are not fun and not pretty. Don't start wars. And a good way to start a war, you can be almost guaranteed to start a war, is if you come into territory and you indiscriminately slaughter kidnap, rape, and torture. Hundreds, thousands. Right? It's shocking. That's how you start wars. Right? Don't start wars and don't cry about it like bitches once you fucking started it. Oh God. I mean, it's one thing to be a completely immoral, homicidal cunt, but to be a whiny little bitch as well. Really, really, don't be a whiny little bitch. Who was probably a whiny little bitch? Harry Roberts shared this thing. Exclusive: Ocon suspends director of online safety. Not very safe for Jews. Okay. The anti-Israel director. Yeah, listen, darling. I'm so, and it's very common throughout the black community. I would say it's disproportionately common. Like, I'm having a back and forth with Danny John Jules, right? And I got nothing but love for Danny John Jules. He's brought me a lot of pleasure in life. He was a capper in Red Wolf, right? And he just, from all reports, he's a lovely guy, right? And he seems like a lovely guy, right? But I think he's pre-programmed to believe that the Israelis are white and the Palestinians are black, and that's why they're being oppressed, which they're fucking not, right? But I think he's programmed to believe that, and it's disproportionately high in the black world, and I don't know why. I could come up with reasons, but listen, it's bullshit, right? So this woman is probably the worst possible candidate, but again, how this thing is falling out in the media is really weird, right? The people who I would normally go, oh, you are going to be just incredible shits, turned out not to be. So after Guido this morning, it's revealed the anti-Israel views of the director of the online safety supervision. So should expressions of opinion on matter of political and public controversy, which could be thought to be comprising of compromise of Bull's reputation of impartiality on the editor. So what did she say? So fine. Bill Cash asked PM. Give us a hint, mate. Give us a hint. Ofcom director defends suspended colleague. Well, of course they do. Well, like, what's the story? Greta Thunberg arrested again. Well, I mean, for what? Like, how could she be a threat to any human being ever? I mean, really? Other than being annoying. Pro-Hamas former British ambassador arrested. Well, I think I'd be up for that. Anyway, fine. I think, is there any new news going on with that? I don't think so. Right? I don't think so. Have a quick look. Fine, I'll do hashtag Israel-Palestine conflict. Let's see. And it was like, is there going to be this lots of pictures of like, and it's really not working this time. Obviously, like lots of injured Palestinian children. I'm like, dude, don't start freaking wars, right? Don't start freaking wars. Yeah, man, I'm having 2,000 boots on the ground. That's really quite. That's a. Well, this. Yeah, okay, fine. So we should look. What I don't know what this is. Fine, let me grab the video. This is. Where are we? Download. So there's a lot of interest to me because this is really where my older son is, I think, or what he's doing, which he's not allowed to tell me. Well, any of these could be pictures of it, for that matter. Yeah, 1 second. Fine. So we go. So this is, I don't know who, Now Video Network. IDF plans to destroy Hezbollah's elite force if a war breaks out in Lebanon. But I think they're doing a lot of work on that now. During Israel, Israeli forces tested plans to capture large areas of southern Lebanon. Well, why are you telling anyone? But okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look, see if I see my son. None. That's not him. It would be quite a I mean, is that the Merkaba 4? I don't know. I can't tell them apart, right? I can't tell them apart. But that might be it. That might be him. I don't know. But that's where the real war is. Up north, mate, right? That's where the real war is. The whole racism accusation is stupid. As I recall, Daddy John Jules, his head is in that completely. I'll show you this thread, right? Because I thought I was being nice to him. Right, I really did. I thought I was like, okay, so he first started posting pro Hamas stuff, right, and then he got shit on his timeline. And I said, 1 second. So I profile. So I said, do you want to come on my channel and chat? I assumed he wouldn't, right? I assumed he wouldn't, but we actually started having a conversation. But it's been a weird conversation, and I want to stress. I like him. I think he's a decent bloke, right? I really genuinely do. Here, let me share this for you. Share screen. And he just thought I wanted to, like, go, nah, you're wrong. I think that's what he believed. Danny, big fan of yours for many years. You recently posted and deleted pro-Palestinian Hamas stuff. Being a rabbi in Israel, obviously I have a very different view. Would you like to come on my YouTube channel and have a genuine discussion conversation? Let's talk. So he says, I'm just a normal black guy, I guess, with a weird job living among racism. And look, I'm not saying he hasn't lived amongst racism, right? I'm not denying that in any way, shape, or form. I just remember in the 80s it not being socially acceptable, right? And like nobody was up for this in the 80s. And I think people have become less racist since then. But okay, I mean, look, I'm not denying his lived experience, right? Just like my parents did with the British Nazis in the 1950s, I believe they really had racism, right? When they got here. The same lot from the Cable Street. They were like anti-Semitic racists. Now there's democracy right there. We're both entitled to a view, and you saw what happened on my timeline. Yeah, I did. That's why I was kind of reaching out. So I said, dude, you are totally entitled to your view and opinions. Well, we used to be able to talk about each other with our different opinions. I generally don't think your outlook comes from bigotry or racism. I'm being honest, right? This is not trying to score Twitter points. But this is a highly emotive, divisive issue, and by talking, we can talk to each other. We can understand each other. I'm not expecting to change your mind. I'm not. And doubt you'll change mine. I'm pretty sure you won't. But at least we'll understand and hopefully respect each other. Honestly, not looking for anything combative or gotcha. Just understand the other side. So he didn't believe me. So he says, I'm up to my ears in racism. It's everywhere. As plain as a nose on your face. Again, look, I think the entertainment industry is particularly racist. Right? I believe it is, right? I don't think they're representative of society. But yeah, look, the entertainment industry is horribly racist, full of horrible people, right? Talk is cheap when it comes to racism and war. You always have expendables. It's a boring cycle with no solutions. Yet they're called superpowers for what use? And I basically agree with all of that. So, dude, I totally agree with you. I think, however, you've been sold BS that the plight of the Palestinian people is a result of racism from Israelis. The only racism is the unhinged Jew hatred that prevents Hamas and those indoctrinated from living in peace with us. This is my first-hand experience from living here in Israel. Honestly, we'd love nothing more from peaceful coexistence we enjoy throughout most of Israel, which has a 20% Palestinian population, all of which are the same human rights as anybody else. But instead, both my sons are on the front lines, and I'm generally live in terror, not seeing them again. Not to mention the horrors of war they must now endure. This is a fight we didn't want, forced on us, and I hope they can destroy the vile, evil cancer that is Hamas and come home safely. We can all live in peace with one another. And we can all live in peace. That's generally what I want, and the vast majority of Israelis. So then it comes back and says, look, talk is cheap. You are what you do and not what you say. Okay, and nothing is being done. Well, there's quite a lot being done. We're eradicating Hamas. You're welcome. I ain't going to any racist country. Well, you live in England, mate. We got monkey chants at football matches. If I was in Ukraine during the war, I wouldn't have I would have been barred from the escaping bombs with the Africans. Okay, again, what's that got to do with me? So I go, yeah, dude, I think I hear what you're saying, but don't really know what it's got to do about Israel and Palestine. It really doesn't, right? Like I try to give you an honest overview of what it's generally like to be from a first-hand perspective. I don't see the connection. But then I felt like we are what we do. We gave away land for peace and got Hamas instead. We built a fence to stop them constantly trying to murder us with their suicide bombing campaign. Then 20 years later, they broke out the fence and raped, tortured, murdered, and kidnapped men, women, and children of all ages. No other nation would have been as kind and merciful as we have. I think so. Bro, I'm not interested in playing your one-upmanship with tennis with politics. I'm not. I'm just... that's just the way it looks. There's no comparison. It's just the way it is. If your soul is clean, you don't have to convince anyone. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just like, that's the case. My case is rested here. Okay, respect that first. I've said my piece. You told us how much you've done for the Palestinians. Leave it there. So I said, cool. Honestly, I was only ever looking for a chat, not a one-upmanship. And then, so I was just going to leave it. And then he replied today. Talk has failed miserably, as you can see when on the news every night, as it reminds us of the heartless world we live in. I just think you need a hug, Danny. Right? I think you need a hug, mate. It seems you're not entirely happy. But hey, as the Europeans say since slavery, we've come a long way. Who is we? Well, you know, there is more slavery now in the world than it was ever before in history, mate. Right? It's just, and most of it is darker skinned people enslaving darker skinned people, right? I hate, look, yes. And I'm not trying to make you look stupid. I was just trying to have a conversation with you. Anyway, so the whole racism accusation is stupid, says Colin Archer. As I recall, the peoples of the Middle East are all the same racial stock. Exactly. Not only that, Jews and Muslims don't just believe in a similar God. They believe in exactly the same freaking God, right? They think it's the same person, and yet still at each other's throats. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.